All right, we're here with Matt Arnold. This is kind of a road to release bonus content, if you will. Matt is the director of development for Out of the Park Developments, and you are coming to us from across the pond. Where specifically are you right now?
I'm currently living in Europe. I'm in Croatia is right now is where my base is.
My goodness! So you last year you were in, if memory serves, were you in China last year when we were talking to you?
No, last year I was been in Vietnam, I
Oh my
believe,
gosh! So why,
around those
how,
times.
why, and how are you traveling so much?
I mean, why I'm traveling was because why not? I mean, that's the base bones arguments of since I joined Out of the Park 11 years ago now. I mean, I've always been remote. The company has always been nominally based in Germany, but never, had small office at the most of times. But most people, everyone worked all around. So at some point, I just, you know, packed up and moved. So
So where does this travel instinct come from you? Because I don't know where we're going to catch up with you next for Out of the Park 27. Is this just a fascination with seeing the world? Why are you the globe-trotting Matt Arnold?
I mean, that's some of it is that is just trying to see the world, right? So some of it is the it's exciting to live in other places, and there's a lot of great places in the world out there. So that's where it is. Right now I'm actually relatively stable here right now, knock on wood, visa situation sort of thing. But yeah, no, it's fun to go and see and meet people from all around.
Awesome. So let's dive in a little bit of Out of the Park, and I wanted to share this with people. I'm going to put up a couple screens during this. You won't be able to see right now, but we alluded to it in our Road to Release broadcast on the Out of the Park Developments channel about how you're able to kind of work with and utilize the amazing mod community. And I'm going to share some pictures right now of ballparks that were created by a couple of modders that I just met through the community building this league, right? A fictional baseball universe. A lot of people find different ways to play the game and historical replays going into the future. One of the things I love is a fictional baseball universe where you can start from the ground up, right? Where you don't know any of the players, you don't know any of the teams. And they're building these ballparks in small Southwest desert towns. And then as we're building these ballparks, boom, we get the breaking news that dynamic scoreboards are coming to Out of the Park 26. And then we're like, wait, hold on a sec. We're about to come out with this new league with these new ballparks. And oh, by the way, now there are the way we look at scoreboards are going to be completely different. And what I marvel at, Matt, is their ability to start working on this and then utilize the dynamic scoreboards and tailor them for and to a ballpark that we're going to play with in Out of the Park 26. Can you let's just rave for a moment and talk about the amazing mod community? Because I know it's not something we can maybe officially acknowledge because of, how it's been utilized in the past. So we don't, Out of the Park doesn't have an official partnership with and says like, hey, look, if you want to go download this stuff, we can't tell you not to, but we can't tell you to do this stuff. But let's just be honest and open about this part. I think we can all agree these people are absolute pros with what they do and what is simply put a hobby, and yet they do this. Can we talk about that for a moment?
Oh, I mean we love the modding community. I mean some of the modders out there just put out absolutely fantastic, great work. I mean the only problem is as you somewhat alluded to is like it's I mean I wish we could do this ourselves more, a lot of this, right? But it's like it's a lot of work for on the ballpark side for Yorin and stuff to do the changes, and then these modders put out every ballpark in in history, right? So the moment that we said, oh yeah, by the way, you can do dynamic scoreboards on them. I mean, their first question was, or I mean, their first stuff was like, oh, that's awesome. Their second one is like, how? Like, tell me how.
Right?
So we've been working with some of them to try to you know let them in on how it actually works in some of the weird 3D world ways, and I think they're making some progress, and the reactions back that we've seen is like, oh my God, this is so awesome, like give me
Isn't that the
I want
best?
this, I want that, I want that.
Matt, as far as I want this, I want that. What made it into Out of the Park 26 that you're so excited for? Because so many these things, they're not things that just date back to maybe last year during Out of the Park 25, but might date back even farther than that. Is there a feature here that we're getting in 26 that you've been really excited about?
I mean, now you're asking me to rank my favorite children, right?
Really. But I mean, we never tell our
No,
children,
I
and we
mean,
always say to our children, we don't have favorites. But behind the scenes, when mom and dad start talking, we say, this one's our favorite.
no, I mean, there's so many pieces that are like, I mean, I we do so many changes, so much updates. I mean, some of it is all just the little nitpicky things under the covers of cleaning up whatever. Some of it is, like some like getting the like historical drive for the pennant going is one of those ones that was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, right? Like, we like doing the drive for the pennant last year. That was a good twist, a good change. I think it brought in a very exciting new big feature, and being able to take that and you know let it fly its wings and work for anything in history is, I think, a highly underrated addition of just how to play the game.
I think so too, because Matt, when I saw it for the first time, when I started playing it, I mean, it was once it was in, I was streaming it, going, let's kick the tires on this thing, let's break her in and see what happens. I was honestly blown away with look. I love jumping into the different situations. I thought that was going to be number one for me. Honestly, the number one part of Drive for the Pennant was, I think, the trade aspect. That I honestly wish trading was like that all the time. It just felt like organic. It felt like almost in some ways a little bit overhauled. That to me, what do you think about the trading aspect for Drive for the Pennant?
Independent trading has always been I don't want to say a controversial topic, but maybe even just like internally for ourselves, like we didn't really know entirely what we wanted to do with it, even as we were going through. Like, it was very much a like, we knew we didn't want to do like just the base game trading, or like, like we added the hard mode trading in a couple years ago, and we didn't just want to like do that. We definitely wanted to make sure it felt different, it felt like a change. And I think it really did come together in terms of like giving a balance between making sure that you have agency, like, because we didn't just want to like you never just want to have the AI manager, your assistant GM, just like do everything for you and like only have a yes or no button. But at the same time, it was like, we do want to make sure that this is not like, the tedium aspect of the regular trading. So I think we did strike a good balance. I know we still have some ideas of tweaks and adjustments as well that I don't think we'll quite make it in for launch, but we might come back to it a little bit in the summer as well, just to give it a little bit of an extra spruce up here and see if there's things that we can continue to improve on as well for that.
Um, as we're taping this interview right now, Matt, earlier today, you were part of an Ask Me Anything, an AMA on Reddit. And I actually asked one of the questions because it was actually what I asked last year to Marcus Heinsohn, the creator of Out of the Park. And that was, when you're not playing Out of the Park baseball, what are you playing? And so the answers were kind of surprising for some of you. Would you share with us what you play video game wise when you don't play Out of the Park?
Yeah, I'm not sure what everyone else said on there. Everyone else had like 28 games that they listed or whatever. I just
Hmm.
said Civ 7, so that's
That's
fine.
the one that jumped out to me.
Civilization has been my like that franchise, that series has always been my other passion other than Out of the Park. So
Do you think that because here you are, you're in Croatia. Last time we talked to you, you say you were in Vietnam. that maybe a fascination with world culture. What's the chicken? What's the egg in this? Your world travel or civilization?
I mean, I think it's I always say with the Civ series, like I mean, I've been playing it since Civ 1 back in 90. I mean, I don't know if I got it quite in 91 or 92. I
Hmm.
don't think I was quite there, but I mean, I know I got it early on, like a shareware version or something like that early, and I've played every version since then. And the historical aspect, the global aspect, the culture aspect has always been I've always loved that about the series.
And is
And
there one?
yeah, it's
What are you looking for? How do you play? Because there's different ways. I'll try best I can to explain, but you can win by war. You can win by culture. You can what's I guess called what being a build wide, build tall. What's your strategy? How do you play? Do you always play the same when you go Civ 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 now into 7?
wow, they vary that game every time. Everything is different, and I mean, to me, I always play it differently depending on,
Okay, well, how are you playing
you
right
know,
now?
depending on what civ you pick, what leader you pick, how you're, what you're feeling at the time, right? It's a good role playing game in terms of, like, I'm playing as, Alexander the Great, and so I'm gonna go conquer people, right? If I'm playing as somebody else and you want to play culture, if I don't want to click a bunch of buttons to attack people, then I'll play more peacefully or something. But I've always enjoyed the game. It's a good strategy game. I mean, to bring it back to our, I mean, I'm not the only person on the team who's played Civ. I'm pretty sure Marcus used to play Civ times in the past as well, and a few other people in the team. I think there's a similar brain in terms of, like, a whole strategy game versus out of the park. I mean, we we sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully, to brand ourselves as another form of strategy game.
I
And
see
I
it.
do think there is a lot of brain and mentality and thinking that goes into each way. So
So, as we bring it full circle then for Out of the Park, how do you play? I know it varies year to year. There are new features, but when you play Out of the Park, what's your preferred method of play?
I mean, every year is a little bit different. I think I'd probably be mostly a traditional base game player in terms of, you start the new season, and I take the Blue Jays and I see if I can fix what's going wrong with the ship there, or play that through, or and that. So I think that's that's probably how I handle things most. I do think, hopefully when things quiet down a little bit more, I'll get a little bit more time to maybe do a couple little of these historical drive for the pennant sessions. The historical game is always a little challenge to play through, so being able to just kind of quickly run through some things will, I think that should be a nice little respite from the rest.
Nice. All right, Matt. Well, I know you got to get back to work and probably playing more Out of the Park. Just make sure when you're playing Out of the Park 26 that you make sure that your Toronto Blue Jays get Vlad on an extension. Okay, make sure that happens.
I mean, that's the first thing I do whenever like, honestly, even if I'm just, like, creating a test game that I'm, like, not even playing, like, the first thing I do is I go and give Vlad his, like, 10 or 12 years and whatever, price it costs, and sign him, because that's what should happen.
Pay the
So
man. Yeah. All right, Matt. Thanks so much. We appreciate your time and best of luck as we get ready for the road to release in Out of the Park 26.
thanks.